I want you to write this down, and do not let your hand stop until the ink has told the truth on the page. The wealthiest place on earth is not the diamond mines of South Africa. It is not the oil fields of the Middle East. It is not the banks of Zurich. The wealthiest place on earth is the cemetery, because it is filled with dreams that died with their owners, strategies that were buried with their founders, visions that never survived the visionary, because no successor was trained, no successor was trusted, no successor was released. Please write that down. If you're the only one who can do it, you built a prison, not a legacy. Write that down, circle it, underline it, shout it back to me. Tell your neighbor, no more prisons. I got news for you. Your talent can make a brand, but your refusal to replace yourself will make a cell, and you will become the warden of your own gift, locking yourself in a routine. Only you can perform until death releases you and your work disappears with you. Not anymore. So here is the question that must haunt us in a holy way until we answer it with action. How do I build leadership that outlives me? Are there eagles in this room? If you are an eagle, then I want you to join me at the top. This is a session for the rare breed who refuse to add to the wealth of the cemetery. Give yourself a hand for even asking the question, because pigeons don't ask about legacy, they only ask about lunch. Eagles ask about lineages. I promise you a framework so practical you can begin this week, so spiritual that heaven will smile. Train, test, release. Everybody say with me, train, test, release. This is not a technique from a seminar. This is a kingdom pattern, a creator-designed rhythm for continuity. And the things you have heard from me among many witnesses, entrust to faithful men who shall be able to teach others also. 2 Timothy 2:2. That is not a suggestion, that is an assignment. Succession is love, love for your vision, because what you love you protect beyond your pulse. Succession is stewardship, stewardship of your people, because leaders are not owners of work, they are gardeners of potential. Succession is obedience, obedience to your calling before you die, because heaven does not reward hoarding, heaven rewards releasing. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles, Isaiah 40:31. Eagles don't just fly, they reproduce flight. If you hoard leadership, you build a prison. But if you transfer leadership, you build a legacy. Choose today. Write this in your notes. Who will do what I do when I am gone? Who am I training now? When will I test them? When will I release them? Say it again. No more prisons. We will train, we will test, we will release, and by God's grace, we will die empty while our legacy still flies. Now, let me put my hand gently but firmly on the back of your neck like a father and turn your face toward the real enemy. It's not the talent around you, it's the terror within you. Write this down. What feels like protection is actually strangulation. Fear of succession guarantees failure of succession. Some of you did not come here for notes. You came for surgery, because your chair has become your identity, and your identity has married your position. You are afraid of 3 things. The loss of relevance. Will I still matter if I'm not the one? The loss of control. What if they do it differently? And the loss of applause. Who will clap for me if I'm in the shadows? Am I talking to anybody? Be honest. Fear hides itself in professional language, excellence, quality control, brand integrity. But the real translation is, I am terrified to be replaced. I got news for you. Please write this down and circle it until the ink screams. Your value is not in being irreplaceable, it is in being reproducible. The greatest trees are not remembered for one fruit. They are remembered for orchards. The greatest leaders are not memorialized because no one could follow them. They are memorialized because many could. Say it with me. Reproducible. Again, reproducible. Look at the consequences of control. When you hog the wheel, you burn out. When you hog the mic, they dry out. When you hog the map, the whole convoy slows down. Control creates bottlenecks for them and brittle bones for your organization. It looks strong until you travel. Then everything collapses. It looks efficient until you get sick. Then the gears seize. If your wisdom is only in your head, your people are one funeral away from bankruptcy. Pastors, managers, founders, different titles, same trap. Pastor, if the sermon lives only in your notes and never in your sons and daughters. Manager, If every email must receive your royal seal, your team is a line outside your door and a sigh in their souls. Founder, if the pricing, the pitch, the partnerships sit in your skull like a secret vault, your company is a coffin with a logo. The Bible already diagnosed this. The fear of man brings a snare, Proverbs 29-25. Fear is a trap. The servant with 1 talent said, I was afraid, and I hid your talent in the ground, Matthew 25-25. Hear me, fear buries gifts, fear buries companies, fear buries churches, and the cemetery becomes wealthier. Not on our watch. Perfect love casts out fear, 1 John 4:18. And love for your vision compels you to transfer it beyond your pulse. You do not honor your calling by clutching it. You honor your calling by cloning it in character. Some of you have come today because your office is nothing but thorns, emails stabbing you, approvals pricking you, crises poking you at midnight, and those thorns are the mercy of God telling you, fly now. Convert your control into curriculum. Convert your anxiety into a pipeline. Convert your applause addiction into a scoreboard of successes. Say it with me loud enough to make you feel nervous. I will not add to the wealth of the cemetery. Again, I will not add to the wealth of the cemetery. One more time for your future. I will not add to the wealth of the cemetery. Give yourself a hand for telling the truth and get ready, because we are about to turn that confession into a system that sets you and them free. Before we run into technique, I want to take you to the blueprint. Write this down. The Creator never asked you to invent leadership. He asked you to imitate His design. You have seen what I did to the Egyptians and how I bore you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself, Exodus 19:4. He compares Himself to the eagle. So if the Creator said He is like an eagle, then I must study the eagle to discover divine leadership. Are there eagles in this room? Then join me at the top, because we are going to look from above. As an eagle stirs up its nest, hovers over its young, spreads out its wings, takes them, bears them on its wings. Deuteronomy 32:11. Please write this down. That is not poetry, that is policy. Eagles do 4 things by design. Prepare, stir, test, release. They build the nest with soft down for comfort and thorns beneath for reality. They hover to cover, then they stir to disturb. They test the eaglets with height and wind, and then they release them to fly. This is not preference. It is pattern. Say it with me. Pattern. Again, pattern. Now, lean in. Legacy is measured by continuity, not celebrity. Write that down and underline it twice. Your leadership is not proven by what you do while you breathe, but by what still breathes after you leave. The eagle does not brag about how high she flies. She measures success by how many wings rise because she let hers go. That is why the Creator revealed Himself with wings, not with cages. He bears, then He banishes fear by forcing flight. I got news for you. Eagles are not threatened by the next generation. They train it. Leave the ranks of the pigeons. Pigeons guard crumbs and peck at anyone near their tiny pile. Eagles groom heirs and fling them at destiny. Tell your neighbor, I am leaving the pigeon coop today. Give yourself a hand for that decision. Everybody write this in big letters. Eagles always test before they trust. Underline it. Circle it. Put a date beside it. The eagle does not hand the sky to unproven wings. She designs pressure, height, wind, the sudden liftoff, because trust is not a feeling. It is a result of test. And when the eaglet fails, and they do, the parent swoops beneath, bears it up, and tries again. That is training without pampering. Accountability without abandonment. That is how heaven treats you. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. Isaiah 40-31. Mount up is not a lounge chair. It is a launch pad. So hear the mandate. Prepare the nest of your organization with comfort and thorns. Stir the status quo when they get cozy. Test under watchful eyes. Then release with a safety net that you remove on schedule. Succession is not a technique. It is divine design revealed in the eagle. Train, test, release until your vision flies from your wings to theirs, and when you are gone, they will still be gliding on wings you taught them to love. I want you to write this down in big unapologetic letters you can see from the back of your life. The succession system. You can repeat, train, test, release. Everybody say it with me. Train, test, release. Again, train, test, release. This is the rhythm that turns inspiration into continuity, charisma into culture, and one great moment into many great generations. If you can't repeat it, you can't sustain it. If you can't teach it, you can't trust it. If you can't schedule it, you won't see it. Training first. Please write this. Train equals impartation of vision, values, vocabulary, and ways of thinking. Training is not dumping tasks, it is downloading mindset. You are not teaching hands what to do. You are teaching eyes how to see and hearts how to weigh. Give them your why, not only your what. Give them your definitions, not only your directions. We don't just copy checklists. We clone culture in character. This is where you standardize the words that carry your world, because language creates lanes. Division, write it down. Di means two. Vision means sight. Two visions create division. So training aligns sight, synchronizes speech, and seed standards so your house speaks one tongue. Testing second. Write this law in your notes and never violate it. Trust is a result of time and test, not a result of titles. Say it with me. Trust is tested, not titled. Titles announce authority. Tests reveal it. Testing proves two things under pressure: character and competence. Character asks, will you be faithful when no one is watching? Competence asks, can you deliver when everyone is waiting? Jesus said, he who is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. Luke 16:10. So we engineer pressure deadlines that breathe, projects that pinch, simulations that sting, because eagles design wind to reveal wings. You don't sabotage them. You stage scenarios to extract truth. The crucible is not cruelty, it is clarity. The refining pot is for silver and the furnace for gold, and a man is tested by his praise. Proverbs 27-21. Applause will come. We test if they can stay humble when it does. Release, third, please hear me. Release is authorize, commission, and celebrate. This is not abandonment. This is appointment. Picture the runway. You don't toss leaders off cliffs. You accelerate them on ramps with you in the cockpit. And when their hands have felt the weight and their eyes have learned the horizon, you slide them into the pilot's seat while you move to mentor. Publicly lay hands, set dates, and state scope. Moses did not vanish in a whisper. Joshua was full of the spirit of wisdom, for Moses had laid his hands on him. Deuteronomy 34-9. Authority transfer must be seen and said, because vague release breeds silent rebellion. Commission them, then celebrate them, so the culture salutes their badge, not your shadow. Here is my promise, write it down. TTR turns anxiety into assurance and isolated genius into generational greatness. It gives you sleep at night and gives them sky by day. It is simple enough to start this week and strong enough to outlive your pulse. Choose the runway over the cliff. Train, test, release until your vision is flying and voices you trained, verified, and released. And the winds you learn to love are the winds they now ride. I want you to write this down in letters big enough to interrupt your excuses. Training is cloning culture in character, not copying tasks on checklists. The first act of training is vision, clarity, division, two visions. When there are two sights, there will be a split. So document the one sight God gave you so others can run with it. Write the vision and make it plain on tablets that he may run who reads it. Habakkuk 2:2. Not vague, plain. Not poetic fog, measurable lanes. Say it with me, plain and runnable. If it is not written, it is optional. If it is not clear, it is contested. Put your mandate, your measures, your map on paper so feet can follow what your mouth declares. Now build the playbook. Write this down. Culture is not a rumor, it is a rule book. Document your rituals, how we open the week, how we finish the quarter, how we start meetings and end conflicts. Write your decision principles, how we rank opportunities, how we weigh risk, how we trade short-term applause for long-term fruit. Set service standards, response times, handoff protocols, recovery promises when we fail. Clarify message frameworks, how we tell our story, how we pitch our product, how we preach our truth. State the non-negotiables. What we never sacrifice, even when cash is tight and critics are loud. If it is not in the playbook, it will not play on game day. Please write that down and date it, because undated convictions evaporate under pressure. Feed them. Live food, not dead meat. Vultures eat what's already dead. That's why they're ugly. Eagles hunt fresh. Your protégés must feast on living ideas, books that stretch them now, current cases that make them think, scripture that cuts and heals, labs where failure is tuition, not a tombstone. Rotate them through assignments that bite back. Do not starve them with last decade's leftovers while you boast about yesterday's storm. Say it with me. Live food only. Build a syllabus that bleeds. Weekly readings. Monthly case debates. Quarterly innovation labs. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds. Matthew 4:4. Proceeds. Present tense. Model before you mandate. Jesus appointed 12 that they might be with him and that he might send them out. Mark 3:14. Be with me, then be sent. Let them shadow you in the room where decisions sweat. Co-lead meetings. Ride along to negotiations. Share the mic, then share the metrics. Let them hear your questions, not just your answers. The way you probe assumptions, the way you pause before you pounce, the way you land a no without wounding dignity. Apprenticeship is not a lecture. It is proximity under pressure. Teach thinking, not tasks. Write this. Tasks repeat. Thinking scales. Expose your mental models. How you prioritize when everything screams urgent. How you evaluate risk without baptizing fear. How you choose people beyond charm to character and competence. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. Proverbs 4:7. Give them your frameworks, criteria, grids, red flag lists, go, no-go thresholds. Walk them through postmortems where the truth is crowned, not the ego. Align language. Language creates lanes. Build an eagle vocabulary, short, repeatable phrases that carry culture when you are not in the room. Trust is tested, not titled. Runway over cliff, no more prisons, live food only. We raise eagles, not pigeons. Print them, post them, practice them. Make them the drumbeat at openings, the benediction at closings, the correction in the corridor. When your words become their reflex, your culture has replicated. Schedule the rhythm. Hope is not a calendar. Put training on the clock, weekly huddles for skills and stories. Monthly roundtables for case analysis and courage. Quarterly intensives for deep dives and drills. Add an annual boot camp where you renew the covenant and reset the standards. They continue steadfastly in the apostles' doctrine. Acts 2:42. Steadfastly means schedule. Set times, set texts, set targets. Tell your neighbor, if it's not scheduled, it's pretend. Now lift your head. This is how we clone culture in character. Train until they can see what you see, say what you say, and stand where you stand. Then they will go farther than you went, and you will be free to rise higher on purpose before you die empty. Write this down, and don't let your pen hesitate. Eagles always test before they trust. Say it with me. Eagles always test before they trust. Trust without test is negligence. I got news for you. Untested people are unknown quantities, and unknown quantities become known disasters at the worst possible time. The mother eagle teaches us God's logic. She builds the nest with soft down over sharp thorns. The babies think comfort is permanent until the day she removes the feathers. Suddenly what felt like love feels like needles. That is not cruelty. That is curriculum. The thorns are a message. Fly now. The Lord tests the righteous. Psalm 11:5. Tests are a sign of love, not abandonment. Now translate this into your leadership. Design progressive tests. Start low and close. Small assignments, time box projects, low risk decisions with clear boundaries. Give them a 2-4-hour decision window with a $500 authority limit. Then 72 hours with $5,000. Then 30 days with full cross-functional coordination. Begin with a 5-minute update in a Monday huddle. Then a 10-minute client brief. Then a live pitch while you watch in the back. Altitude rises as evidence accrues. Please write this down. Promotion is a math problem, not a mood swing. Character before competence. We don't only test hands, we test hearts. Set trials that reveal integrity, teachability, humility under correction, and resilience under pressure. Do they arrive early without being watched? Do they credit the team when praised and own the miss when criticized? Can they receive a rebuke without a rebuttal? Count it all joy when you fall into various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience. James 1:2-3. Skills can be taught quickly. Character is proven slowly. If they bristle at feedback, reduce altitude. If they repent and adjust, expand runway. Simulate storms on purpose. Better to sweat in practice than bleed in battle. Schedule crisis drills. What if our top client cancels Friday? Run budget squeezes, cut 10%, spend without cutting standards. Stage hard conversations, role play truth with grace at full volume. Invite scrutiny, put them on the panel. Let them face public questions without your whisper in their ear. Pressure exposes leaks safely when you choose the weather. Write this down. We manufacture wind to make wings. Metrics that matter anchor the test. Define outcomes, behaviors, and boundaries before liftoff. What must be delivered? What behaviors must be modeled? What lines must never be crossed? After action, debrief with data, not drama. Ask 3 questions every time. What happened? Why did it happen? What will you do differently on Monday? Document patterns. Trust increases when numbers and narratives agree. And the cadence, hear me, speed is your ally. The faster they fall, the faster you fly to coach. Each catch builds trust and skill. The farther ego times his swoop, so growth is stretched, but bones aren't broken. Rescue is timed, not triggered by panic. Every fall, then catch, writes a line in the ledger of trust, tested, measured, proven. Say it again. Eagles always test before they trust. Trust is engineered through design, pressure, and measured performance. If you want altitude without anxiety, put the thorns in, pull the feathers out, raise the wind, and keep the stopwatch running. This is how we turn potential into pilots and fear into confidence before we release them to the sky. Write this down and don't let your pen lie to your heart. Release is not abandonment. It is authorization. Say it with me. Release is not abandonment. It is authorization. The purpose of testing was not to keep them in the nest. It was to prove they can ride the wind. Now, the law of legacy demands clarity. Authorize with clarity. If they must ask you for everything, you did not release them. You only extended the umbilical cord. Give decision rights by domain, budgets by band, scopes by size, and timelines by date. Tell them what is theirs to own, what must be reported, and what must be escalated. Name the hills they must die on, and the valleys they can redesign. If authority is fuzzy, responsibility will be avoided. Please write this down. Ambiguity is the enemy of release. Coach, don't control. Your hand moves from the steering wheel to the radio. You don't grab the yoke every time the plane wobbles. You speak calm, precise words that steady the pilot without stealing the cockpit. Feedback without hijacking. Ask more questions than you give commands. What did you see? What options did you weigh? What principle governed your choice? He who is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. Luke 16:10. Faithful pilots must feel the weight, not just your whisper. I got news for you. If you keep rescuing, you are rehearsing dependence, not developing leaders. Public commissioning seals culture. Honor creates ownership. Lay hands, announce authority, set scope in front of the house, and celebrate the appointment. Take Joshua, lay your hand on him, and give him some of your authority. Numbers 27-18:20. Then, having fasted and prayed and laid hands on them, they sent them away. Acts 13-3. Don't slip successors through side doors. Crown them at the front and let the people say amen. When the tribe hears it, the tribe honors it. Protect values, not preferences. Hold the creed. Let methods evolve. Legacy is principles, not hairstyles. Keep the truth. Open the tactics. If the doctrine stays, the delivery can change. Tell them, we never lie, we never exploit, we always serve, we always tell the truth. But let them design the new channels, the fresh campaigns, the current tools. Eagles don't argue about twigs when the sky is calling. Write this down. Change the feathers, keep the flight. Establish a debrief rhythm. Weekly after action, reviews wins first, then lessons. No blame, just ownership. Ask, what worked, what broke, what will we do differently by Friday? Document agreements. Own the outcome together. Like arrows in the hand of a warrior, Psalm 127:4. Arrows are aimed, released, and then reviewed to adjust the next shot. That rhythm compounds wisdom. And finally, hear me with both ears. Real release multiplies impact and frees you to rise to new altitudes. When their wings catch, yours can climb again. You are not retiring, you are ascending. Say it again until your fear surrenders. Release is not abandonment, it is authorization. Now give yourself a hand for letting go, because when you let them fly, heaven lets you soar. Now that we have learned to release, we must build what release requires. Architecture. Write this down, and don't trust your memory, which your future legacy requires a visible, dated, numeric pipeline, not wishes and whispers. If your bench is invisible, your future is imaginary. For this reason I left you in Crete, that you should set in order the things that are lacking and appoint elders in every city. Titus 1:5. Set it in order means draw it, date it, and assign it. Are there eagles in this room? Then join me at the top. This is how eagles turn momentum into multiplication. Map your seats. First chair rows, those are the pilots. Second chair deputies, those are the co-pilots. Learning the horizon. Third chair, emerging leaders, those are the cadets on the tarmac. Put names in boxes and circles around the gaps. Don't hide vacancies under vague titles. Label reality so faith has a target. Pigeons keep secrets. Eagles put names on paper and courage on calendars. Write the vision and make it plain, that he may run who reads it. Habakkuk 2:2. If it's not plain, no one runs. If no one runs, you remain the only runner. Bench depth rule. Write this down and tattoo it on your planning. For every critical seat, develop 2 to 3 ready successors. If your bench is 1 deep, you are 1 flu away from a funeral. Say it with me, 2 to 3, always ready. That's how orchards replace single trees. 2 Timothy 2:2 is the math. Me to you, you to faithful, faithful to others. That is depth. Now, timelines. Build 3 clocks. Emergency. 0, 30 days. Who takes the wheel tonight if lightning strikes? Interim. 3,180 days. Who stabilizes the craft while the search proceeds? Planned transition. 12, 36 months. Who is shadowing, co-leading, and stepping in by date? Put milestones in ink. Day 3, access and announcements issued. Day 30, first decision review and team one-on-ones complete. Month 6, strategic plan delivered and board affirmed. Month 18, full budget authority. Month 24, formal handoff. Israel mourned Moses 30 days. Then the word came to Joshua, arise, see Deuteronomy 34 and Joshua 1. Your system should be able to arise on schedule. Design on-ramps, not cliffs. Each successor must have a 90-day scorecard, 3 outcomes, 5 behaviors, and non-negotiable boundaries. Assign mentors. Jesus sent them 2 by 2, Mark 6-7. Nobody flies first solo without a radio. Introduce key relationships, clients, elders, partners before crisis. Identify early wins that matter and can be achieved by day 30 and day 60 to build confidence and culture credit. Build a dashboard so you lead with data, not drama. Review quarterly the 4 C's of readiness. Competency, can they do the work? Character, will they do right when praised and when pressed? Chemistry, do they fit our values and lift our team? Capacity, can they carry greater weight without cracking? Acts 6-3 gives the template. Men of good reputation, full of the spirit and wisdom. That's character and competence in 1 verse. Green, yellow, red, each quarter, adjust assignments accordingly. Set numeric targets so faith has feet. By Q4, train 1-2, test 8, release 4. Say it again. Train 1-2, test 8, release 4. Repeat annually and watch compounding take over. Year 1 becomes year 5's forest. I chose you and appointed you that you should go and bear fruit and that your fruit should remain. John 15:16. Remaining fruit is measurable benches and dated batons. Give yourself a hand. You are leaving the ranks of the pigeons. Name the seats. Fill the bench, set the clocks, build the on-ramps, watch the dashboard, hit the numbers, and your vision will still be running when you are resting. Write this down and circle it till your fear gets tired. Adversity is part of the plan. Use it to purify your bench and strengthen your culture. Say it with me. Part of the plan. Not an interruption, an instrument. When you name successes, expect turbulence. Jealousy will hiss. Politics will whisper. Insecurity will invent rumors. Vultures love dead things. That's why they gather around stalled projects and failed launches. Keep your eaglets on live assignments. Keep them hunting fresh. Dead work breeds gossip. Live work kills it. I am doing a great work so that I cannot come down. Nehemiah 6:3. Tell your neighbor, stay in the work, starve the whispers. Now hear me with both ears. Founder syndrome is a toxin. Applause addiction is a drug. If you are high on claps, you will keep the mic even when your season is to multiply, not monopolize. Detox by anchoring your identity in calling, not in the microphone. Write this down. I am a steward, not the show. John the Baptist said, he must increase, but I must decrease. John 3:30. If the vision can't grow unless you are seen, it is not a vision. It is vanity. I got news for you. When you release voices, your assignment enlarges, your ego shrinks, and your influence scales. Protect the nest from snakes. Snakes slither where boundaries blur. Put rails on the runway. Clear governance, role charters, values, covenants. Who decides what, by when, with which check and balance? Put it in writing. Be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Matthew 10:16. Wisdom builds gates. Harmlessness guards hearts. Create conflict of interest policies. Codify hiring authority. And require covenant signatures. Then enforce them. I give you authority to trample on serpents and scorpions. Luke 10:19. Authority unused is permission granted. When tests reveal misfit, respond with compassion and clarity. If repentant, restore. If a man is overtaken in a trespass, you who are spiritual, restore such a one in a spirit of gentleness. Galatians 6:1. Retrain, reassign, remeasure, but if resistant, release. Reject a divisive man after the first and second admonition. Titus 3:10. 2 warnings, then a door. Mercy without boundaries becomes cruelty to the culture. Say it with me. Restore if repentant, release if resistant. Storm strategy. Eagles face storms and ride them higher. Use criticism as wind. Convert crises into labs. A client cancels, make it an innovation sprint. A rumor spreads, turn transparency up and invite questions to the front. Saul threw spears because of a song. Saul has slain his thousands and David his 10,000s. 1 Samuel 18. Jealousy is proof of momentum. Don't dodge it, outfly it. Association law, write this down. You become like those you associate with. He who walks with wise men will be wise. Proverbs 13:20. Bad company corrupts good morals. 1 Corinthians 15:33. Keep eagles close, pigeons at a distance, vultures out of the room. Build councils of courage around your successors. Seek mentors within arm's reach. Quarantine chronic cynics outside decision flow. I met a young leader, Naomi, suffocating under office politics. We put her on a live turnaround, gave her a charter, set boundaries, faced the storm publicly, restored 2 teammates, released 1 saboteur. 90 days later, results spoke and the whispers died of starvation. That's what happens when eagles ride wind and leaders use adversity on purpose. Give yourself a hand. You are not surprised by snakes, storms, or saboteurs. You are sovereign over them by design. Write it one more time. Adversity is part of the plan. Purify the bench, strengthen the culture, and keep the sky busy with new wings. Now say it with me. No more prisons, only legacies. Write this down and let it interrupt your excuses. Die empty. Train, test, release, until you can leave the planet empty and your legacy still flies. This is the capstone, the high rock, where eagles renew and leaders let go. Are there eagles in this room? Then join me at the top. I want to talk about your molting season, your graduation day posture, your legacy audit, and your vow before God. Molting first. I got news for you. Renewal is not optional. It is ordained. Eagles step aside to a high place. pluck old feathers, let the sun bake our parasites, and re-enter lighter and sharper. Leaders must schedule this on purpose. Sabbath rhythms, weekly, 24 hours, where you touch nothing and let God touch everything. Reflection retreats quarterly off the grid, with your journal and your metrics, repenting of drift and resetting devotion. Mentor circles, monthly. 2 sages who ask you the questions your applause won't, who pull thorns from your soul before they pierce your team. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Exodus 20:8. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. Isaiah 40:31. Wait then wing, rest then rise. Now graduation day, please hear me like a son hears a father. Rejoice when protégés surpass you. Your ceiling must become their floor. If they fly higher, that's not a threat. That's proof your training worked. Give them a standing ovation while you find a higher assignment. John said, he must increase, but I must decrease. John 3:30. That is not demotion. That is multiplication. Say with me, my ceiling is their floor. Legacy audit. Write this down in 3 words. Preach, plan, pay. Can they preach it, carry the message with conviction and clarity when you are not in the room? Can they plan it, convert vision into calendars, budgets, and milestones without your pen? Can they pay for it, raise, steward, and allocate resources with integrity so the work sustains itself? If the answer is yes, ascend. If the answer is no, return to train, test, release, and don't complain, lead. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. 2 Timothy 4:7. Finish means others are running while you are resting. Now the vow, 90 days. Write it down, date it, and say it out loud. In the next 90 days, I will identify 3 protégés by name and begin weekly development huddles. Finish my written succession plan, seats, names, timelines, budgets, and place it in governance. Schedule 2 public releases with laying of hands and clear scopes. Say it with me. I will die empty. Again, I will die empty. One more time. Till fear lets go. I will die empty. Give yourself a hand. This is the moment you move from control to commission, from prison to legacy. Lift your head. Your heart can rest because your house will rise. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. Train, test, release until the day you are ready to leave the planet completely empty, while the sky above you is still busy with wings you raised. Now go fly higher and leave nothing buried in the cemetery of potential.